breaking down barriers, raising awareness, and creating better culture to society that supports mental health and well being. And to do that, our clinical psychologist, Dr. Solomon Tengu Shao. Doc, good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, everybody.
And beside him is a clinical psychologist at the Federal Medical Center, Makudi, and chairman, Psychological Association of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter, Dr. Andrew Ondakai Yolumun. Doc, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, today we are going to discuss so much, and our focus is on changing the narrative on suicide in commemoration of the World Suicide Prevention Day 2024. Let's start by this obvious question. What leads to suicide? Dr. Yolumu.
Okay, good morning, fellow listeners.
I beg your pardon.
Suicide, it's a major public health challenge, and nobody intentionally wants to exit living. But first, underlying mental health challenges are a prominent leading cause of suicide. People who suffer mental challenges that have been prolonged, that have impaired their cognition, their perception, their thought process, results to suicide. Now, when your cognitive process is impaired, you also begin to experience symptoms like perceptual symptoms like hallucinations, hearing voices that are particular to you as a person, and these are false perceptual beliefs that are particular to the individual alone. So people who suffer mental illnesses, major psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia. You could also suffer major depressive disorders or bipolar disorders. You have a tendency to also commit suicide. That's just one leading contributors to suicide. Everybody has a desire to attain self-actualization. Now, when you have climbed the ladder of the Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs, from your basic physiological needs to the needs of food and food, you move to needs for love and belongingness, to needs of security, and you come to self-actualization. People who have actually actualized their potentials in life feel more comfortable. And people who are unable to climb that ladder to attain their desired actualization tend to lose hope, in the essence of living. Because when they turn around to look at their peers and they have not, whom they have started together and have not attained the same heights, there is a tendency that they can have a loss of self-value for themselves. They develop a low self-esteem. Oh, I am not like my friends. So let me be on my own. Let me learn to be contented with what I have. They only desire to be contented, but they are never contented. So in a bid to keep struggling to attain self-actualization without any hope in sight, at times lead to depression, loss of hope in their existence, feeling of hopelessness. This results into depression. It begins at the mild stage, to the moderate stage, to severe depression, and ultimately, people tend to commit suicide. Apart from that, you can also look at the socioeconomic challenges, even in the social context. Today, our country is going through a very difficult transformational process. The economy cannot be easily predicted. Where people sleep today, and they are wondering what tomorrow might be. It tends to affect their psyche, their thinking. It tends to affect their behavior. It brings a sense of hopelessness of the future. So for the adult, it brings a sense of hopelessness. And when he extrapolates that even to the children he he begins to ask, what does the future hold even for these children? These are precipitating factors that pushes people, to committing suicide. There are a lot of several other factors. Some may be neglected by others as not factors contributing, to suicide. But to others, they hold these factors very high, such as loss of relationship, loss of loved ones, marital crisis. The list is endless. But it varies from one individual to another, and it depends on an individual's understanding, processing of such thoughts that leads to suicide.
Dr. Shah, we have listened to the chairman Psychological Association speaking to us extensively about what can trigger, what can lead to suicide. From his explanation, I'm getting to understand that suicide is an outcome of processes over time. Meaning, when people commit suicide, that is to my own understanding, it's not what may have happened immediately around that period that has led them to that action. Can you, maybe to a layman like me, explain to the listener what are some of the common triggers that can begin to push people towards having suicidal thoughts so that the society can begin to avoid certain things and thoughts?
Thank you very much. As my colleague has earlier said, suicide itself is an end to a process. Before suicide do take place, there are, in fact, for one successful suicide, there might be about over 20 suicide attempts before one completed suicide action can take place. There is a process which the client or the person undergoes various suicide ideations. We call it suicide ideations or suicide ideas, which the person undergoes for several times. There are many unsuccessful suicide attempts. Some might have the ideation, some might attempt severally without succeeding. And as he has said, there are various reasons why people do think of committing suicide. Just to add a little, things like unbearable pains. You see situations where people are in deep pains and uncontrollable pains that they see reasons of not continuing with life. You see a situation where people break up in relationships, people who are exposed to violence. In most cases, when people are being raped or face crisis in terms of wars, that it became so tough for them and they see no reason of continuing with life. Some, in most cases, you hear of people. There was a recent case which a Benue guy lost his life, committed suicide because he couldn't pay a loan he took for a business. So situations where you find yourself in problems which are interpreted to be impossible to solve might lead one consider in taking one's life. As he said, depression can lead one into thinking or possibly committing suicide, loss of money or relationship, as he has said. So there is an endless list to why people would think of committing suicide. And before a suicide is completed, there are several attempted cases of suicide. Some are actually taken to the last level, which is suicide itself, and some attempts are uncompleted based on maybe personal judgment or interventions along the line that might prevent the person from committing suicide.
Intervention, what a beautiful word to dovetail your response, because that now builds into the question I want to ask the chairman, Psychological Association, Benue State chapter. How can we, as members of the society, members of a family, associates, colleagues, or people around individuals who may be predisposed to suicide, how can we we are not professionals. How can we detect so that we can offer support?
Okay. You cannot give out what you don't have. So first, we must understand that suicide is an intentional way of taking one's life, propelled by several other factors. Now, there are instances as family members, as friends, as colleagues, as associates. We stay with someone who intends to commit suicide. He has been shouting out, he has been reaching out, but we may tend to ignore it. Now, before now, you could hear friends or people who want to commit suicide begin to ask friends and associates, what can easily take one's life in a casual discussion. What do you think this person, he may bring up suicidal talks, discussions. This person took his life. He drank sniper. Sniper is too harsh. What do you think? They bring up suicide discussions. Now, their discussions are ways of crying out that, yes, I am pressed to a point that I'm also intending to commit suicide. And most of the times we ignore these discussions, we participate in them feeling that all is well. Now, first, as friends and family members, if anyone begins to spring up in the course of interaction, suicidal discussions, it is a serious pointer to the fact that that person is crying out for help. He is reaching out that, look, situations are very difficult. Now, there are also some common words that people are going to use. Oh, I don't know what the future holds for me. For me, it's better to go, to die, than to even live in this kind of hopeless situation. Feeling of hopelessness. They are expressing their level of hopelessness. So when you stay around people and, they keep talking about their hopelessness, it is a sign that this person has 95% chances of committing suicide. Or he has already made preparations to commit suicide and he is shouting out. That could be a last invitation. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I read on the Facebook, I think in Abuja, a young guy who came to a nearby shop, discussed with the friends about the challenging situation in Nigeria. He went back and committed suicide. He was speaking to them about the hopelessness of the situation we have found ourselves in as a country. He was not specific about himself, but at intervals in the course of the narration on the Facebook, he could say, yes, even him, he has not eaten and he doesn't know what the future holds for him. But he went back. He was crying out for help. And none of them could detect that this discussion simply was pointing out to the fact that this young man was going to commit suicide. Now, when you understand that, words like, I am hopeless, I don't know what the future holds for me, I am tired of this life, they are pointing to the fact that the person is a potential suicide candidate. And then, when you see people gathering, reading a lot of suicidal materials, you are gathering information about how to commit suicide. He may not discuss, but you may visit a friend and you may see him have materials on how to commit suicide. It's a pointer to the fact that this person is a suicide candidate. You may not see materials that talks about potentials of taking one's life, but you may also begin to see harmful substances that ordinarily are not supposed to be kept close to the living room or close to the sitting room, like poisons of various kinds. They are pointing to the fact that this particular person is intending to commit suicide. And when the people are reaching out, either in write-ups, in terms of write-ups on social media, in terms of reaching out to you, and it could be on a phone conversation, and they're talking about their hopelessness, it's a pointer to the fact that this person wants to commit suicide. Few months or 2 or 3 months ago, I have a classmate of mine who wrote on the platform, on the Facebook platform, that this life self, what is the meaning of this life? Quickly.
Wait, a clinical psychologist?
No, he is not. He was an undergraduate classmate. Okay. He's not a clinical psychologist.
Okay.
Of course, clinical psychologists are not insulated against the challenges that predisposes one to commit suicide.
Exactly.
Nobody is insulated.
Exactly.
It all depends on your level of interpretation of the stimulus that that bombards your sensory system at that particular point in time. Your interpretation determines whether you are going to commit suicide or not. So, by the time I drop your number, I want to reach out to you. Of course, that young man had not eaten for 3 to 4 days.
Oh, okay.
He was actually fed up with life, and that intervention saved the situation. So there are times you see people write and carelessly. The situation in Nigeria over time was that when people cry a long elasticity limit, so we think that everybody has that elasticity limit, but not everybody has that elastic limit. So what can be normal to you can never be normal to them. So when you see people writing, asking questions about suicide, when you see people gathering materials, putting them closer to where they rest, and ordinarily they shouldn't be kept, it's a potential sign that people have intentions of committing suicide.
Dr. Shah, today, anywhere he's landing or you are landing, is leading, is dovetailing into the next question, because he spoke about the fact that we have normalized pain in Nigeria. Yes. So when you actually are genuinely crying out and being specific about your own pain, somebody will remind you that na universal charger, everybody, they disturb everybody. Why are you personalizing the challenges? And this then leads to stigma, especially for the men folk who find it difficult to cry out in our vulnerable state. How do we address stigma as members of the society?
Yeah, stigma, it's a major challenge in our society today. And because of that, it makes it very difficult for people to air out their feelings. People stigmatized for various reasons, and the consequential effect is that people are now withdrawn to lay out their feelings for the sake that they might be stigmatized. You will discover that the male gender, which claims to be the stronger gender, do commit more successful suicide compared to the female gender. This is partially because for the fear of being discriminated or for the fear of being labeled as weak, a man prefers to hold on information, hold on pains without crying out. You will discover that any worry or any disturbance from the female gender, she cries it out, she opens it up. That is why we psychologists encourage people to cry out when you feel burdened. It's medicinal, it's medication. However, the male gender, which is termed to be the man, the strong, he absorbs it and it shocks in between. So you will notice often that there are more successful suicide actions from the male gender than the female. However, there are more suicide attempts, unsuccessful attempts from the female gender. Along the line, they cry out and the society comes in to help. So the aspect of discrimination has been a problem to the society. We clinical psychologists or health professionals encourage that people should not be discriminated. People should rather bring out ways of helping people who find themselves in times of trouble. When you notice someone exhibiting signs, as my colleague has said, these signs can go as far as people writing wills. You see somebody who wake up and say, I want to write my will. A will is a process heading to an end. Why coming about writing a will or possibly dashing out valuable possessions? You see someone who wake up today and say, I dash you my house, I dash you my car. Start giving out valuable items, which is an indication that the person is calling for a closed chapter
Especially when the person is not known for giving like that.
Exactly, my brother. So you see a drastic change. You see people being withdrawn. Somebody who has been very social has suddenly become a withdrawn person, lost of interest in activities which the person has been into, taking some risky decision, taking some risky steps without thinking of the consequences. So when you notice possibly consuming of excessive alcohol, yes, people consume alcohol at various levels, but you will notice that someone who has been taking a bottle has suddenly become has started taking 3 or 4. So when you notice these signs among those that my colleague have mentioned, you ask the big question, the tough question, which is, are you considering suicide? A bold question. When you hit at that question, you relax and listen without being judgmental. Allow the person pour out. Remember, without being judgmental. There are some people, as soon as you say, yes, I'm considering suicide. Okay, die now, we will do. So, as funny as it might be, you might not understand how the person interprets the message. It might be an addition that, go, we don't need you. You listen to the person without being judgmental. At the same time, keep a close contact by disengaging harmful substance or weapons around the person's reach. If there are chemicals around you, make sure you distance them. Then try as much as possible to link up with the head professional until a head professional is involved before a distance can be given. And from there, the head professional takes it up.
Well, let's talk about visiting a shrink, as the Oyibos call a psychologist. In Nigeria, mere mentioning, or let me say in Benue, mere mention of the fact that you have gone to see a mental health professional, for some people, is going to put you in a category that sometimes makes people reluctant to even go. Sometimes you see people in the hospital, how do we do as early as possible?
That still brings us to the issue of stigma that Dr. Shai has us. The reason why people don't see mental health professionals boils down to the issue of stigma. And we keep talking about stigma, stigma, stigma. What then is stigma? It's our negative reaction to a person's action towards a particular thing. Our negative reaction, not perception, our negative reaction. The reaction is obvious, that it scares the person from, continuing with that bold step he has taken. So several people don't like seeing mental health professionals because people are not only going to take negative reactions toward, exhibit negative reactions towards them, they are also going to label them. So the issue of labeling somebody to have a mental health problem has really been the reason why people don't seek mental health health assistance or help in times of need. In other climes of the society, visiting a mental health professional is just like doing a routine checkup. And we are saying that
it is even encouraged.
It's even encouraged. Now, here in our climb, and in Benue State, and Benue State in particular, Benue State is not different from the other states in Nigeria where people, are scared of visiting mental health professionals. The simple reason is that most mental health professionals are housed within the hospital setting. Now, people who go there are people who have suffered mental health, challenges that have defied peripheral care, and they need secondary or tertiary care. Unfortunately for us in Benue State, we don't have secondary mental health care. We have tertiary mental health care. In the last 2 years, the Comprehensive Community Mental Health Program, which was housed within the Methodist Church, had come up with a plan in collaboration with WHO to train, mental health professionals and put them at the primary level, healthcare level, and the secondary healthcare level, so that they can attend to issues of drug refill, issues of people coming down with peripheral mental health challenges, and also as a referral pathway for people who have mental health challenges and don't know where to go. Now, by so doing, they were also not just trying to bring mental health closer to the people, but they were also working at demystifying, mental health and reducing stigma. Unfortunately, at the close of that intervention, we have still gone back to, back to the basis where we were before they came in. Now, at the primary healthcare level, at the community levels, people still have a culture of labeling, a culture of stigma towards people who have mental health challenges. And you may have mild mental health challenges that do not even require antipsychotics. They may only require you to see a clinical psychologist or a clinical social worker or a psychiatric nurse, at the primary healthcare level, and you engage in talk therapy, and your problem is solved. But once you visit a mental health challenge, your daughters, are going to have difficulty getting married because the news spreads like wildfire. Oh, you want to marry in that house? They have a mental health challenge. So you want to give birth to, commonly as people say, you want to give birth to mad children. That's the common notion people say everywhere. But what we are doing here, what you people are doing here today, is one step in encouraging people to seek mental health assistance or go for mental health check. That look, it is not every mental health check that qualifies a person for serious psychotic disorders or mental health issues. Mental health issues are also classified from mild to moderate to severe. So you may only be having, your mental health may be stress induced. Your mental health may be illness induced. It may be situational. And once that situation passes, you are normal. Secondly, this government has come on board, and we want to encourage the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Sport and Women Affairs and Social Development to come up with a template where we can have one-stop mental health, shops in cities. You can start in Makurdi, for instance. You can have 2. You can go to Boko and have 2. You can have 2, or you can have 1 in Kasinala, or you may have 1 in Boko. You may have another 1 in Otukpo. In the metropolitan cities in Benue State, you can begin with one mental health stop shop, where people on the go can stop and do their mental status examination. They can go in just like people walk in and check their blood pressure. You can also check your anxiety level. You can also check your stress level. And then you have a talk therapy, and then you walk out and you are normal. And we're saying that if these ideas are put into 20-30 minutes, it's more than enough. He does his mental status evaluation, his anxiety check, his stress check, He has a talk therapy, and there are even instances where people may not necessarily need to talk. They may be giving IEC materials. Oh, you can read this. If you have problem with this, you can come back and see us. The mental health shop are friendly shops that help people demystify, accessing mental health care.
All right, you're listening to Perspectives, and you just heard the voice of Dr. Yunemun, who is a clinical psychologist at Federal Medical Center, Makurdi, as well as the chairperson of the Psychological Association of Nigeria. At 10, we'll be taking your calls on 0814-335-9292. But you can start sending your text messages in right now to 091-26-999-5 404. WhatsApp messages as well. Do not forget that we're streaming this program live on www.agateradio.tv.com, on Facebook at Agate TV, and on Facebook at Agate Radio/TV, and on YouTube at Agate TV, one word. Now let's return to you, Dr. Shah. How can we offer support when we have definitely identified that one is going through a mental challenge, for example, depression? How can the members of the family or friends and offer support to help in managing the situation? Because we are not health professionals. What are some of the informal things that we can do to offer support to prevent the situation from graduating to the unwanted outcome?
Thank you, my brother. You have already answered the question by saying support.
Okay. Oh, just the word support alone.
Support.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And support could come in various ways. Support could first start, and most importantly, support from the family or close relations. Mental health challenges are actually the most difficult challenges, because challenges that affect one's thought, leading to change in behavior and actions. First, the family, which is the closest, most significant aspect of one's life. When we notice signs of depression or other mental health challenges, it is the responsibility of the family or friends who are close to the person to show that support, which it could be in terms of talking to the person, which it could be in terms of being available to the person, which it could be in terms of financial support, as it may be. Causes of suicide are diverse regarding the angle the person is suffering from. Families can stand in for the person. At the same time, we can offer support by seeking professional help. We have the clinical psychologist, the psychiatric, or the social health workers, which handles it in the professional ways. Psychologists too doesn't just take decisions or diagnose patients or client on particular illness or labels. We undergo some various psychological processes and psychological tests, as we might call it. It is not just good enough to say that someone has lost interest, so he's considering suicide ideation. It is not just good enough to say that someone is depressed, so he's considering suicide. Some people might be depressed, some people might abuse drugs, some people might be withdrawn, yet they might not consider committing suicide. So it is a process, and this process must be confirmed professionally, else we might land ourselves in the angle we are talking about discrimination. You see somebody being withdrawn. This one is thinking about killing himself. So not knowing you might just be the reason why the person might start thinking about taking own life. So it is not good enough on our own judgment to sit and conclude that yes, this person is considering suicide. Yes, when these signs are noticeable, seek the health professionals, the clinical psychologists. Here we have them at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital and at the Federal Medical Center. So when you get there, they attend to the person in the more professional way. And at the same time, mental health issues, it's a multidimensional approach, even in the aspect of treatment, where it goes as far as involving medication, as my colleague earlier said. Depending on the level, it might be mild, it might be moderate, it might be severe. So it is not just a single aspect, but a multidimensional problem which involves multidimensional approaches in solving it, starting from the family, friends, close relations, to the health professionals. Thank you.
Dr. Yolomo, how do we now encourage open conversations about mental health and even suicide?
Open conversations about mental health and suicide must be entrenched in all aspects of our life, our existence. First, let me say at the family level, families should feel free to discuss mental health issues. Now, when a family member has a mental health challenge, it should be a fact. Also determine the extent to which that individual receives social support. The social support can be in terms of informational, it can be in terms of tangible or instrumental, where resources are given to the individual, like food, like clothing, like personal assistance, like having a warm bath, having warm water to bath with. It can also be emotional, being empathic, sharing the psychological pains of that individual, his social isolation. So when people outside the family cycle are distancing themselves away from the individual, members of the close family are making that individual feel at home, that yes, you are our friend, we are your friends, and we're here with you. Now, at the church level, I want to take it in the using the agents of socialization. At the church level, the church must also entrench discussions about mental health. Mental health is as old as man's existence. You can remember King Saul. Mm-hmm. If you look at the ancient history of mental illnesses and mental disorders, they were believed to be caused by gods and goddesses. So Saul himself was inflicted with mental health, with a challenge of depression, and whenever his emotions were down, David will play the harp, and Saul will revive, his mood will be elated, and he will be revived back again. And you hear of the madman of Badara, who was suffering from psychotic features. So mental health also has religious connotations. Connotations because there is an ancient history that God, spirits were the cause of mental health. So the church also needs to discuss, mental health in its fora. At certain forums, you can organize seminars on mental health so that people can understand that mental health are not caused by spirits and gods and goddesses. They are stress-induced, they are economic-induced, they are socially induced. So that people within the church cycle can understand that, I can have my depression because, on my own, I have not been able to overcome my challenges, or I have misinterpreted certain things in this way, so it can lead to this. Then at schools should also entrench in their curriculum issues of mental health. At leisure, mental health talk shows should be organized at that level. There are a lot of things that, affect our mental health. At secondary schools, we have issues of sexual-based violence. We have issues of gender-based violence among teachers. We have sexual harassment among colleagues at workplace, among students themselves. There are mental health issues. They should be discussed at that level. And professionally, at workplace, we have mental health issues at workplace. So organizations should entrench mental health issues discussions as part of routine, discussions at weekly meetings, at monthly meetings. And at the government level, we are anticipating that every ministry should have a mental health desk officer, where staff can, walk into such offices and hold mental health discussions with desk officers to see how they can solve their problems. So we are going to entrench mental health discussions at all levels. At the media level, you are already doing it. You have been doing it over and over and over and over. And it is expected that the general public will take a cue from what you people have been doing to open discussions on mental health. And over and above all, while discussing mental health, we should know that nobody is immune against mental health. So there is no basis for stigma.
Hmm. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumund, for that beautiful postulation. Dr. Shah, how can we support individuals who have, attempted suicide, thank God unsuccessfully, or are struggling, that have been diagnosed with struggling with suicidal thoughts?
Yes, as I earlier said, suicide is a process. Several attempts, unsuccessful attempts. So
This one I'm referring particularly that we now know.
yes,
Maybe somebody tried to. I don't want to paint any images or
yeah.
give any help anyone out there with any ideation, but somebody has attempted. Maybe we were part of those who rescued the person from the attempt,
Yes.
or someone has been diagnosed,
Yes.
and we know, we are aware, we are ordinary members of the society now.
Yes.
How do we
Yes. There are
interact with someone like that
Yes.
to help them?
Yes. There are various ways we can help such people. First, being empathic. Being empathic in the sense that you get into the person's word. You listen to the person. You assume the person's position without being judgmental. You accept the person's reasons for considering taking one's life. And after understanding, being in the person's word, you give that emotional support, trying to give your support in various ways. What actually was the cost that led to the person's thought about or attempt to consider suicide? Is it finance? You find possible ways on how to support the person if it is financial related. Is it relationship based? You find possible ways which you can talk to the person if you can, but if you can't, then you involve the services of the professional. It all bounces around support. As I earlier said, this support can be emotional. It can be being there for the person. Let the person feel that, oh, he's not alone. And let the person know that this is not the end of the world. It happens. You bring in scenarios where things worse than that had happened, yet there was a reason for continuation. So getting the person revived back to the society. So it's bounce about the support, and support is the major tool which we hold on in helping people with mental challenges. So support. It could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be socially, it could be physical, as my colleague has said. So support is all the person needs.
Support.
Yeah.
All right. I hope that our listeners are taking notes and are keeping track of the conversation, because we are drawing closer to when we'll open the lines. But as we continue to talk about changing the narrative, Dr. Yolumu, share with us effective strategies for people whose mental health challenges have reached a crisis point. Maybe they are not yet suicidal, but it's affecting their productivity. What are some of the strategies we can deploy in such crisis points and emergencies? I have witnessed where somebody just begins to behave erratic. The person doesn't particularly have suicidal thought, but you're like, So how do we manage? Because I found myself thoroughly confused. I didn't know my left from my right, how to manage. I was empathetic, like Dr. Shah, your colleague, said, but beyond that, I felt helpless.
Okay. There is what we call psychological first aid. It is not different from the usual first aid we know. We say that first aid is the first treatment given to a sick person before taking him to the hospital.
Yes.
We have what is called psychological first aid. Psychological first aid has three key principles: look, listen, and refer. As you work and interact with colleagues, friends, and family members, you look at their behavior. Is it normal? Is it deviating from the normal? That's why you are looking. Is all well? Oh, you can take a bold step and you can ask, are there challenges? There may be denial. No, I'm okay. But the behavior is not in tandem with what you are observing. You refer. Now, you refer because the person may have a more robust and, in-depth conversation with the professional. So the first thing is, when I have these challenges, when I look, when I listen, where do I refer? When you refer people to the hospital, they won't go. Because of the high cost of setting up private, psychological, mental health facilities, and over time we have noticed that government is only struggling now with even the normal health facilities we have in maintaining them. Private practice is very expensive. We're saying that reach out to the professionals, the non-social workers. Now, put a call across to them, refer such a person, and they can make provision of a professional that can, address the needs of your client, your family member, your colleague, and your co-worker. Remember, people are afraid of sharing their own challenges even with colleagues at work because they become a subject of discussion in public places. And it leads to stigma. So people prefer to hold, to repress their mental health problems, and they can't repress it to a certain level. They can only repress it to a certain level, and then behavioral manifestations begin to unfold. Put a call to the professionals. I have a colleague. This is what I have observed. I want to refer him. You refer him, and he receives help. Now, for severe mental people whose situations has gone beyond moderate to severe or mild to moderate to severe, he needs professional help in a more organized setting. Now, mental health treatment is holistic. Nobody stands alone. What requires medication, the psychiatrists provide antipsychotics, antidepressants, as the case may be. The clinical psychologists provide talking cure. The social workers do what is called a social integration. That after visiting a mental health facility, how is he integrated back into the society to live a normal life prior to the onset? So it is at that level, it is a holistic approach. So first, you look, you listen, you make referral. Secondly, there are also mental health issues that could be handled. As a professional colleague, you can lean a shoulder for your colleague to lean on. You must build some level of trust that you can also listen. There are instances that people only need others to listen to their own side of the story. They don't need medication.
Yes.
So hear me out. This is what I am going through. They only need someone to discuss with. But even at workplace, we are living as if we are in, in a white man's country where everybody minds his own business. In our communities, people need where they can sit and, think aloud. Do you have neighbors that you can sit with in the evening and discuss challenges together? There are common community strategies for mental health interventions that are lacking now. Before now, we used to have community squares where people come back from work and they sit at the square. They tell stories, they share problems, and they go back relieved. There is this common saying that a problem partly skin. In workplace, colleagues should be able to have a platform where they can come, sit, relax, and share, unburden their hearts, their minds. So it's a holistic approach that is going to be adapted at the family level. At the family level, do families sit together and talk again? In the church, do pastors sit and, with their church members and also share in their challenges? It is not all about money. It is not all about the word of God alone. A stable mind receives the word more than an unstable mind. At workplace, do our bosses have time? Or do our leaders have time to sit and hold interactions with the staff? You hold interactions with the staff and everybody takes a bottle of mineral or a bottle of water, and everybody go home relaxed.
How do we promote mental well-being in the workplace?
Mental
because that is what he has been harping on, off and on.
Yes. Mental well-being in the workplace can be promoted by creating a very good working environment, in the sense that if you observe some offices or in some workplaces, the working condition of the staff itself is unconducive. There is no way the mental health can function, or anybody can function effectively in an inconducive environment. So it is important that organizations or offices should ensure a very good working condition for staff. Secondly, interpersonal relationship among staff. You might have a very good working environment, but the persons working in that environment might not be comfortable, in the sense that there is lack of interpersonal working relationship. So it is very important that avenues, as he has said, avenues which brings the staff together be harnessed, social gatherings or events which connects the superiors from the minors, brings them together. Let them have that sense of belonging. Let them have that sense of unity. Fair treatment in workplaces. How are staff, or how are people being treated in the work environment? Injustice is a call for violence, and violence is a trigger to mental problem. How do you treat, or how do you handle cases regarding staff? So injustice should be discouraged. Staff should receive fair treatment. In that case, that sense of belonging and also that sense of productivity. It is not just the benefit of the staff alone. It also goes as far as helping the organization itself. When the staff are happy, it triggers productivity, and when productivity is triggered, profit is being achieved. So there are various ways the organization. How do you pay your staff? Are your staff proud and happy that they are actually in this organization? So fair treatment, equality, avenues for bringing staff together, sharing of ideas, and standing in for each other. You will understand that some people in the same organization don't even know others' name. You come to work in the morning, you say hi. That's all. When you sit moody, it's none of my concern. I face my business and you face yours. So that mutual understanding, avenues that brings the staff together should be created. Fair treatment among staff, a good working relationship and good working environment should be produced, so as to create a good working relationship and also develop the organization.
Thank you so much, Doc. And it's bang on 10 o'clock, time for us to take calls. But before we start taking calls, here is an announcement. The Institute of Advanced Entrepreneurship Research and Development announces commencement of applications for the National Youth Investment Fund under her cluster. Interested applicants between the ages of 26 and 35 years old are requested to visit our office at number 6, First Avenue, off Katinala Street, High Level, Makudi, for enrollment. Business proposals and upload of applications will professionally be done for all the applicants. For more details, kindly call 080-8505-9527 or 080-2669-0507. Signed, Engineer Zakaria Iwe, Project Manager for Management. You're now listening to Agate Radio's Perspectives. Welcome back from that short announcement. You can call us on 0814-3359292 or send a text message to 091-26999-404. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and keep your conversations to the subject matter. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel Chavia.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Dondo Regent from Apa in Boko Local Government of Benue.
Okay, Dondove, good morning and welcome.
Thank you so much. I must thank our guest radio, the people with you in the studio for this wonderful program.
Thank
You see, I have made to understand today that I shouldn't take any talk from a potential suicidal candidate for granted. Because we have people around us, at times they will be talking concerning such issues that we take for granted. You see, I have a case, an experience. One of my relatives at the constitutional local government there, at Josundan to be precise, this guy had a mild mental issue, but it was treated and was over. He was doing well, he had a good house, and he started complaining of his kinsmen being against him. So he was now with the mother's people. And all of a sudden, he said he went there to his kids people to do some work and, like harassing, even he had some beating and he had some cut. He was treated and the case was over. And when he was well again, this guy all of a sudden just went to his house when there was nobody, and he removed this rope they used in fetching water from the well. He removed it and went and hugged himself and was dead. Nobody knew where he was. They came back, people came back and did not see the rope, but didn't notice until after 2-3 days like that before they started looking for him. That without seeing him, before they discovered, went for search and discovered his dead body hung on a tree. So when people start complaining, my people are against me, I don't know what I'm living again and all that, you should take it seriously. But my advice now is going to every person, there should be no reason to justify one taking his life. I heard of a case on the radio last year that somebody just took his life. He was in SS1 going to 2 and then he failed an exam and then took away his life just for failing an exam. That shouldn't be, because there are people that can be done, that can improve intellectually when they grew up. So there is no need taking your life for any reason at all.
James, we sympathize with you for the loss of your loved one owing to mental health challenge, and we pray that may God give the family the fortitude to bear the loss.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, James.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye for now.
Yes, you can send in your messages to 09126999404 as well as calls to 0814-335-9292. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. What is your name, ma'am?
My name is Teresa Izungu
Teresa.
from opposite College of Health Science.
Okay. Makudi, I guess?
BSc.
Okay.
My greetings go to the discussion
Thank you. Good morning.
and all Agate Radio.
Thank you.
I want to say something about our attitude towards when some people are complaining of things that are worrying them. Sometimes when you just start to say something, somebody will not even give you a listening ear. The person will just tell you it's all over. That is how everybody is going, what everybody is going through. Something happened in my house, I think 1 week ago, last week to be precise. And one boy just came back from the school. He was talking anyhow, and I guess it was mental illness. But the action we took helped him a lot. When he was doing this, I looked at him, I said, no, this is not normal. This boy has not been behaving like this. So we quickly rushed him. We took him to the room. We didn't want people to gather around him and be throwing words at him. We took him to the room. So I called the mother and told him that what your son is doing something that is strange. Has your son been suffering from anything like that? The mother said no. But I encouraged her to come. But before she came, they took him to the hospital, teaching hospital to be precise. So they treated him, and now he's well. If that day, the way the boy was talking, if we were not careful enough, maybe the things he was saying to people would have resulted to something else. Maybe some people would be beating him because he was saying things that are so provoking. But we try to understand that this boy has not been behaving like this. So people should try to observe people the way they behaved before and what they are doing, whether it is normal or it's not normal. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresa, and have a great day.
You too.
Yes, talking about observation and intervening urgently and taking steps is what she has advocated for. Good to hear from the female folk as well. Please, whatever gender you are, call us 0814 335 9292. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Nat, how are you?
This is Emmanuel standing in
Oh,
for Nathaniel. Yes.
Okay, morning, Manuel. I have to apologize to Agate Radio. I was invited for that program last night by night. By
Okay.
Nat.
Okay.
My name is Dr. Asan. I'm calling from Makodi.
Okay, Doc.
But, yes, how are you?
Fine, but your colleagues have done a wonderful job.
Yes, I'm bereaved. I lost a brother to the village, so
okay.
I was emotionally down.
We should be
I
the
have
ones
to-
apologizing to you, Doc.
Yeah, thank you. I have to commend my colleagues for that wonderful job.
Thank you.
I
sir.
just have to, maybe I just
you, sir.
have to add one or two things based on my experiences in the society. I think trying to identify early warning signs of suicidal self-harm and suicide, very important. In 1998, in Lagos, a very senior army officer, a colleague of mine, who was retired by 90, was in Creek Hospital, Lagos. He went upstairs. He was on the 10th floor. Those of you that know Creek Hospital very well, 10th floor of a high rise. Went into his bedroom, came back, jumped from the 10th floor, and died in Creek. And the army dismissed him, and he wasn't given burial befitting of an officer. Something similar to that happened somewhere in one of the North Central State universities. I won't like to call the name of the university for fear of stigmatization. And a 18-year-old girl, because of a love distortion, I think that was her first love encounter, had to go into her hostel, bought pesticides, ingested a whole bottle of pesticides, and died because the boy left her. I think we need a lot of awareness. Unfortunately, in this country, not only Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, we don't have the statistics of suicide cases and suicidal self-harm cases. We bank on statistics from CDC and WHO. I think the time has come for us, taking into account the serious nature of these unfortunate incidents, for scientists to be motivated to conduct research so that we can have a database. If we have a database, it will give us a roadmap to manage these unfortunate incidents effectively. Lastly, managing suicide and suicidal self-harm requires a multi-sectoral approach, starting from the family, immediate family, community, faith-based organization, and possibly the police or security agencies. If we have a multi-sectoral approach, it may be possible to identify some of these early warning signs and then nip it in the bud before the final unfortunate destiny occurs. Thank you very much. I was able to come, but I'm looking forward to contributing my quarter in the interest of society in the not too distant future.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
your full name, sir?
Yeah, Dr. Joe Hassan.
Okay, Joe Hassan. And
Not Hassan, not Hassan.
Hassan.
Hassan. Hassan. Okay. Okay, Hassan.
I am a full thief, but I'm
Okay.
Ombayungu.
Okay.
Your student is greeting you, sir.
Okay.
Who is my?
Yes.
Who is that man? Who
Dr.
is my
Tengu
student?
Solomushai.
Solomon, how are you?
Fine,
Oh,
sir.
okay.
That's my
Since you
lecturer.
guys,
Okay.
Yeah.
since you guys are there, I believe you must have done a good job.
Yeah.
I would have been loved to be there, but unfortunately, I couldn't come.
So, Dr. Hassan, of what school or hospital?
No, I've just left. I'm University Bureau. I'm now
Okay.
engaged in community service, running my NGO, running my clinic, and running my technical college in my village. When you become an elder statesman, you should be thinking of giving back to society and employing people instead of going to. But I am ready to come anytime and talk to you people. I'm sure my students must have mentioned substance abuse. That is a topic that people should look for a day, special day, and invite them to come and talk on substance abuse management in our society. It's a very serious problem. The menace is too much, and it crosses across all sectors. It is also one of the causative factors of suicide and suicidal self-harm procedures.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Joe Hassan.
Thank you very much.
Well, your lecturer called him.
Yeah.
Didn't know that he was listening.
Yes.
Quite erudite. Now, 0814-335-9292 for calls. For messages, which we'll read later, 09126-999-404. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. My name is Timothy Dogo. I'm calling behind a gate production.
Okay, Timothy Dogo behind Agate Production.
Yeah. And, sir, I just come across this program, but I have questions to ask. I don't know the starting, but I have questions to ask.
Go on.
Yes. I have my colleagues in the work. Sometimes, just small thing, that man will insult you with your parents, your mother, and your father. To the level that a certain time, this man do the same thing with me, and not once, like sometime every day. He will just come and started acting like that. So I reported this man to my boss. My boss didn't respond. I reported the one that followed him. He said that is how the man sometimes you even insulted him. So I was confused to the level that one of the elderly man that used to came to our office, I reported to him. He said now he is not no longer closer with those people, so I should tell the MD and the manager, that is the manager, that they should discuss about it. So I now said, the MD is a white man, is an Indian man. So I now have to, the thing is becoming too much. I used to avoid him very well. Even greeting, we cannot greet. When he needs something, when he came, he needs it, I provide what he wants.
So what is your question now?
The real thing is I'm confused. I want you people to help me to tackle such kind of situation. I need the answer from you.
All right. All right.
It's a
Thank you.
question.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, there are two docs in the house, and there are two clinical psychologists in the house. How do you want to tackle this?
Yes. First of all, we have what is known as abnormal behavior,
Okay.
abnormality, a deviation from the norm.
Hmm.
We have the norms of our society, and insulting people uncallfully is not one of them.
Hmm.
So it calls for attention when someone behaves in deviant to the norms of that society. Oftentimes we do say that that is how he is, so accept him for that. From little it graduates to severe, and when it finally happens, we will say that, oh, so this was where it was heading to. So I will categorically say that is that her colleagues need help. He needs psychological intervention. So she should find a way to talk to the colleague and persuade him, or possibly get across to a clinical psychology, because getting to talk to that kind of a person might rather trigger another action. So get connected, get a clinical psychologist involved to undergo a process known as behavior modification. We modify your thoughts, we modify how you think as it reflects in your behavior. So it is not normal when we look at people behave in odd ways and we conclude that that is how he behaves. It is a deviation from norm. So that behavior should be modified. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So we'll be dropping contacts later. Timothy Dogo, if you are listening, stay tuned till the end. We'll drop contacts that you can as well use later to join us on the program. To execute the advice that Dr. Charles has given. You are listening to Perspectives. The number to call 091-26999-404, as well as 081-4335-9292. We have a couple of messages inbox. Let me see if I can just take one so that we at least show those who are sending messages that we are taking their messages as well. This one says, who knows what tomorrow may bring? Let us not kill ourselves because of a situation that is putting us under pressure today. I'm sorry that some situations are mind-boggling. Good morning to the panelists, and thanks to Tiavia Emmanuel. Happy day for suicide prevention. Utua Isaac from Guma. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello? Good morning, Mr. Manuel Tiavia.
Morning, sir.
Daniel Tena from Yogiwo. It's really been long.
Yes, sir.
Daniel Tena from Yogiwo here in Makodi.
Daniel, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I want to appreciate you people for this one program.
Yes, sir.
You see, some people, many cases, they don't have someone to confide in need. If you have your friend that any problem you are sharing with somebody, and you are ready to hear the advice that a person give it to you, I think you will not see no you. In fact, there's really no need for you to go and kill yourself. As for me, because where I'm saying, accident happened. The one guy wanted to, in fact, make an attempt, kill himself more than 3 times. It is the 4th time that he succeeded. But if I tell you the reason, for some of us, I don't see that reason that he could have killed himself. So sometimes we are admitting the teachers hospitals, those psychologists come advise him on what to do, but the same guy will go around at the back and go and do it again. That day, God said, no, you have tried me so much, so you need to do it. So we maybe want to die. So the guy that lasted. So what am I trying to say is that, please, even what we are, as I say, let us find somebody to at least have a friend that if there are any problem, reason with it, and this is a drug that we do take. Some of them too, make some people they will run mad. End of the day, they will not know what they are doing. Some of them they will run mad and go and kill themselves. So let us be advising them, and as I say, and even let them this day would have started on Sunday so that there will be more awareness in the churches, in the mosques, in the market square, so that on this grand day like this, there will be town hall meeting, so that the young people that they are fond of having to kill themselves, they will know that it's not advisable to kill you. This life is given by you, but it's not allow you to take it. Thank you. Have a nice day, Mr. Manu Carrier.
Thank you so much. Daniel, thank you so much, Daniel. Daniel Tenant from Nyogungu, right here in Makdi. Well, he spoke about the church, and you had, spoken about the church as one of the agents of socialization. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning, presenter.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, this is I'm your chairman from High Level.
Okay, I'm a what?
I'm a chair Emmanuel.
Okay, I'm a chair from High Level. How are you today?
I'm good. My contribution is actually picking a point from the first caller and that of which the doctor said about students failing and then attempting to commit suicide. I would like to ask if is it not good in the tertiary or maybe secondary schools if those clinical psychologists are supposed to be there to be able to counsel students that are failing, students that are supposed to be expelled, and the rest of them, because I think no successful person wants to commit suicide. And if you look critically, you see that the number of suicide is actually among the young persons. So if there is a section or there is a sector in a way that can create a counseling unit for people, maybe in the street or school and the rest of that, I think that will control the ratio of suicide among people. I think that's it's my contribution.
All right, thank you so much, Ame Oche. Hello, but listen, because I'm sure that he is gone already. But Dr. Ilumun, you spoke about secondary healthcare having easy one-stop mental health shops. Yes. We are still. Can you elaborate more on that? Because his question really makes it vital that we shed more light on that idea that you have.
Yes, I think he is referring to the tertiary institutions. And it is very, very important that beyond, university clinics, within the university clinics, you can also have psychological clinics. Every university is now developing their human counseling capacity. It is becoming a directorate. That within the directorate, there are also counselors that, are going to provide these services. But, counseling is also distinct from psychotherapy. So it can be an integrated approach where in the universities, in the counseling centers, you will also have clinical psychologists who will also be providing therapeutic services for students. Now, students who have failed, students who cannot perform in one course and want to transfer to another course, students who are, using and abusing drugs, students who are abused sexually, who are also abused based on gender, all these cases will be treated therapeutically within the center. So the center will be an integrated center and not just, a one-line center just for counseling. But because it is integrated, it is going to serve dual purposes even for the university. It is going to improve the quality of graduates they are going to produce on one hand. It's also going to serve as a revenue base for the university on the other hand, because these services are not provided for free, so they could be also included in the school fees. It could also be a center where neighbors within the vicinity can also attend.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Well, this is Elzamboka.
Hello, good
I'm
morning.
calling from High Level.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
I greet all of you in the studio.
Morning.
Please extend my greetings to Joatan. He was my schoolmate I don't know that he has lost a relation. May he be consoled. And I'm sure Joe will know my case very well. We were in the University of Jos many years back. The interesting thing is that nobody tells a testimony about themselves. So let me talk my own. I got into the students' union somehow when I was in the university. And being a physics student, science for that matter, I had difficulty. Some of my lecturers were not happy with me that I was politicking. So there was this day I was traveling in an aircraft to London. And while we were crossing the Mediterranean Sea, because of the academic problems I had, I began to imagine that if this aircraft crash landed in the Mediterranean Sea, all my problems will be solved. But here am I today. Somewhere, I didn't even graduate. I came back, my father gave me a civil service job. I became a staff officer and retired on grade level 14. But all said and done, today if you come near me with anything called death, if you see the way I'll be struggling. Well, one other point I want to lastly make is this concept of even town planning. Our environments are full, like Joe was saying, substance abuse everywhere you turn. And our cities are hardly planned, no place to rest. Everywhere you find a shop, and even when you just want to walk along the street, shops left, right, and center. And the trader typically who is watching you wants you to come and buy. And when you are not coming to buy, you become an enemy. He doesn't even wish you well. So all kinds of stressors, like you medical people will call it stressors in the land. All kinds of stressors. And listen to the...
Hello? Elder. Okay, sorry, it seems like a network cut him off. But he was making a point about the fact that even he, who now considers himself robust, once had suicidal thoughts. Sort of confirming your statement that no one is immune to having suicidal thoughts. Hello? Hello? Are you there? All right, call us back. It seems like there's an issue with your connection to us. 0814-335-9292. Hello?
Hello, sorry, sir. It's Timothy once again.
Okay, Dogo.
Yes, sir. This thing happened to the level that a certain time this man came and attacked me in the room.
Okay.
So we fight ourselves together.
Like we said,
when MD of the company was present, I was thinking of inviting the joint task force, but I say no. They are the head.
Keep listening. You will get a number that you can call to help with intervention. Okay.
All right.
Just stay on. Towards the end, the gentleman in here will give you numbers of public social health workers that will help you with intervention and behavior modification. Is it not, Dr. Shah?
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Timothy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the program. Yeah.
Yes. This is why we never even know the impact of what we do sometimes. We plan for programs, and here is someone with it's really bothering him for him to try and call back again. Yes. Hello?
Good morning, Malam Professor Emmanuel Tavia.
Good morning. Who is on the line, please?
I am Engineer Sunday Akpa calling from Lobak.
Oh, Sunday Akpa, good morning.
Thank you, sir. Greetings to your guests there.
Good morning.
They have spoken very, very well. And I appreciate Agate Radio for this topic. Apart from the abuse of substances that people have mentioned, let me approach it from this angle. We as individuals, we should always see ourselves as successful. We should think positively. Is it any status you have or wherever you are in this world, there are people above you and you are also above other people. Let's not always see ourselves as failures. Let's not look at life from the pessimistic angle, from positive angle. In fact, be happy that you are alive. Some people went to bed like you, they died. And you are alive. And you think your problem will overwhelm you? There is always another better tomorrow. So we think positively. Like if you say you are poor, you are marching on bare and you are walking on barefoot and you don't have any slippers. There are other people who are amputees and they are only been looking to have legs so that they can march there without shoes. You understand? So even if you fail in school, that shouldn't call for suicide. failure is not the opposite of success. It's an opportunity for you to try again in another form. That is it. So if you take life like that, I will not resign to fate. We continue to be hopeful. We won't think of suicide at all. Suicide is not a solution. By the way, if you kill yourself, definitely you are going to meet your creator there. You didn't create life. Well, why did you take it? So it doesn't solve any problem. So whatever situation you find yourself, try to think positively. You can always do better. You can always do better. And don't always see other people as better than you or you are a failure. You're not a failure. If you think you're a failure, try again and better your lot. You are definitely more than other people, while others are more than you. Thank you very much. That's my contribution. Let's think positively.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Engineer Sunday Akpa from North Bank, encouraging us to think positively. You're listening to Agate Radio, its perspectives, and please keep the calls coming. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Mr. Jairus Tumala.
Okay, Jairus Tumala from...
I'm high level.
Okay.
Yes. Let me tell a little bit about myself. Some years back, I was working, doing very fine, one of the institutions in Jos. All of a sudden, I lost my job. When I lost my job, I had a very serious problem with my wife. Totally confused. I don't know what to do. I have 3 kids. I thought I keep on. Eventually, I got a contract job with one of the institutions here in Makodi. Then you relieve as camp. Moved down children at 2011. I was managing my life and the children all with me. My wife eventually separated. Towards the end of my contract job, then I have some problems. I have a problem with my eyes. Gradually. My brother, I lost my sight. But the 3 kids around me don't know what to do. At the end has finally come. The hell with the children. If I die today, they will find, they will live. So anyhow they live, they live. Then you go and forget about body. How can I leave those beautiful children who do I actually have to take care of them? I was contemplating. I sat on my door, outside the door. I sat there until daybreak, thinking that I'm already on bed sleeping, not knowing that I am outside, sitting down. I sat down in the chair like that until daybreak. My next door neighbor, he saw me, said something has gone wrong with this man. I said that the waiting happened. For where? This way, this is yesterday. You don't see this morning. Are you well? I said, no. I'm fine. Nothing happened to me. If any little thing, I flame. Anger. Then when I look at my 3 kids, I say, no. I must not die and leave the children. I decided to encourage myself. Am I the first person to go blind? Look at thousands of them on the street. They didn't kill themselves because my blindness just come unexpected. Then because of that, I should die and kill myself and leave the children. I say no, it will not work. However, that is how I survived it. Some people have mind like mine. Some don't have. They take their lives. So my begging now to our professionals in the studio now, please, sir, don't wait until a day like this before you are invited to make such a speech or lecture or seminar. Because what you have said today, millions of people now taking it from there and they are now saved. Like me, I learn more. I am free. I am free now. Nothing can ever. I fear death now more than any other person. So I beg the professionals, organize a program. Always go to church. Let the church go to mosque, mosque. Play their own role by preaching encouragement. Tell your member why they should not take their lives. Yes, you must face God judgment. Yes, I get ready. Thank you so much. But you have done very well. But I say, do more. That's a little bit, just a little bit of myself. But the Bible can say nobody say about himself. He says something about himself. I am alive today. I am here in my high level. Yeah, I am right here. So please, it has gone to that level. Help by preaching to everybody. Let them hear. From so doing, they will know, okay, I don't have anything to take in my life. Thank you, sir. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In fact, it has almost moved me to tears. I don't think I've ever presented a program like this in my life. I have never. Thank you so much, Jairus. And he's one that always calls in, and you never know that he has been through that kind of experience. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Mr. Emmanuel Chalia.
Morning. Who am I speaking with?
You are speaking with Igbayima Akura, a visual person from Makumba Chiabo local government.
Oh, okay. Igbayima, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. My guys are just in the studio.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Chalia. This today's topic, I have benefited from it a lot.
Okay.
Due to my introduction, I was normal when I was born. After my secondary school, I developed a fault in one of my eyes.
Oh.
Later on, the two eyes have become visual. Life has become difficult to me, but I always give thanks to Almighty God. As stated in the Bible, Matthew 11:28, come to me, those of you that are heavily labored, I will lessen the labor. Heavily burdened, I will lessen the burden, as they say in the Bible. So I have benefited from this today's topic on a serious note. So I want to thank you so much. One of the factors that can easily solve this problem is expression of affection. That is what I gathered from your discussion there. And voicing out, associating with your peers or neighbors, as well as prayers. So, having said that, I lost my father in June rather, I'm buried in July. Hence, I am the head of the family now. Each and every burden of the family stop on my table to me to take to another person. It has become a serious challenge to me. But having listened to this program, I know very well that God is in control. Having got myself into these challenges, I think God is preparing my future to be a brighter one, so that when I was equal to the tax, I will equal to the tax. I will not see very much pain again, but I will be successful. Thank you so much for the program of today.
Thank you, Igbayima, and have a great day.
Welcome. You too.
Well, we are grateful for the fact that our guests have been able to approach this topic from an angle that is impacting our listeners directly. Hello, good morning. Good morning. How today?
Yeah, I'm fine and fair. Having listened to the guests in the house, I have to greet them very high above the sky. My greetings go to our guests.
Thank you.
And mostly the Agate radio that he brings out this thing for all of us to hear from this morning. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
And like what you have discussed so far, all I summarize on it is that it is conditioned that warrant all these things to happen to somebody who is psychiatric or any other sickness that will make him to take his life. But whatever it is, there should be no condition at all on earth. Let them read the Job and many other books that are in the church. If not in the church, they hear it. They see other people also, like any person at all that is falling into this condition. Let him pray to God, think of what he's going to do. And I want to talk to the family members first. If you wake up one morning and see your family member misbehaving in one way that he has never done before, invite him and talk to him. If it goes beyond your control, invite your neighbor. If the neighbor talk to him, and if that goes beyond again, visit the hospital. We have doctors like our guests in the house there. We will advise them, even if it is discovered that they cannot no more come to normal life. The doctors will advise them, give them drugs, and then give them date again to go and be coming back. If that is done, I think they may have hope of becoming a normal person in the near future. So there's no reason we will take our life. God will annoy us if we take our life because He's the giver of this life. Nobody is born to face this condition. It is something satanic, I can say. So let us pray to God that He can take us out of this menace. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much on that, Gabriel. 0814 335 9292 for calls. For messages, 0912 6999 404. It's obvious that this program was timely.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you?
Yes, my name is E.T. Abraham, calling from behind Federal Locust, North Bank, Makurdi.
E.T. Abraham, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to commend the guests in the studio. Earlier on, they have established very interesting points that today it is very impactful to our life. And as well, I want to congratulate you for standing in for our brother Nathan, and it is so well with you, sir.
Amen.
Today's topic about the psychology of our society, it is interesting so far to hear from the gentleman that whatever situation you find yourself in, it has a solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to urge the society, particularly the youth, who have overwhelmingly taken themselves from different stops, that at the end of it all has bad implications on their life. That whatever they are doing, they should think of their head. Their head should be a top priority. What am I doing or taking as a drop? Am I going to be happy with it? And if I am a victim tomorrow, what could be it to take it? And so today we are all advised to be very proactive and do not decline in our journey. Whatever we find ourselves on, there is a solution, and God will also help us. And so I want to commend Agate Radio for establishing this platform for us, the public domain, to get in touch for the significant things that will rekindle our hope in today's and in our future. Thank you so very much for the opportunity to contribute this morning. Abraham TV from Prayer Locust, North Bank, Makurdi. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good morning. Thank you so much, Abraham, for joining us on the program. Time to just take one more call and then read your messages before we move over to the... Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning. Emeka Anyos from North Bank.
Mazi Emeka, good morning.
Yes. What I'm trying to say is that committing suicide, some people who are claiming or trying to commit suicide because of hardship, I am saying that they should stop such a thing. We do know things are very difficult these days in the country. But the only way you can do things is by enduring. And for those who take drugs, we know that when you are taking drugs, sometimes it will cause you a lot of problems. Not only drugs, when you go alone, you are thinking how you are going to meet ends meet and you don't have. I think the best thing you have to do is to return to God. Because with God, everything is possible. With God, you can have a life, a good life. This one, you will look at somebody this day, you want to make money by all costs. And you are looking at such a person, you want to make money by all costs. It is not good. The only thing you can do as a person is to return to God and believe that God can provide everything. And you labor very, very hard. You see, laziness makes some people to go and join some things that is not good. A boy who's supposed to be in the farming, he will be busy smoking. A boy who's supposed to be in farm doing something or selling or doing one thing or the other, he will be busy taking drugs. That thing is not good. This morning I just saw a young boy like this showing somehow, and that one is cost of drugs. And sometimes they will look at it that it is people in the village. It is not so. So I am calling on our younger ones, and I'm calling on the elder ones who used to take drugs. They should stop. They should think they don't have good things. You see, the government are doing their best, but then there are people working in the government who are also drug pushers, who are also drug addicts.
Mazi
I am of the opinion that thank you very much.
Mazi Emeka, we cannot say for sure that government officials are drug dealers. That is an allegation that Agate Radio will emphatically want to refute, because, again, by the way, that's the last call for today's edition of Perspectives. For those who have not been able to call through, if you send in your message in the next 10 seconds, we might be able to read it. Let's take this one from Shenge. Shenge says, good morning, I Get Radio, and the visitors in the studio, the guests. Shenge Enoch from Welfare Quarters, Makudi. I want to appreciate you for creating mental health awareness. And I also have a question. Could leakage of nudes, pictures, and videos as well lead to suicidal ideation? Once again, thank you, Dr. Oyolimu. Let's start from there as we wrap up. Could the leakage of...
Yes. Yes, they are damaging to one's personality.
Okay.
They also reduce your self-value, self-worth, and self-esteem. So they are actually serious triggers, precipitating factors and perpetuating factors to suicidal ideations and suicide itself.
Okay, Shenge, I hope you heard what the doctor said in responding directly to your question. Let's now, as we wrap up, enhance the conversation in this way. Dr. Shai, what is the importance of self-care, when it comes to mental health and suicide prevention? Self-care, because most of the times we don't even take time to think about ourselves.
Yes. Self-care, as the name implies, valuing oneself, taking care of oneself, giving self maximal attention. Suicide, one of the causes of suicide is seeing no reason for continuation, having that feeling of unvalued, having that feeling that no one cares about you. And the care starts from within. When you as a person don't value yourself, when you as a person have that low self-esteem, the tendency to believe that others don't value you, others don't care about you is very high. And when that is done, the next decision is to think about taking one's life, because the care is not there. And once the care is not there, it means that you are not valued. So it's very important that you take care of yourself, you value yourself, as it is believed that people behave and interact with you as you present yourself. So it's important that you value yourself, you have that high self-esteem as it reflects in your thoughts and your ideas, and consequently your behavior. Then the society will also value you, and you will see reasons for continuity.
Dr. Shah, briefly, some of the callers did touch on a subject matter that was very touching, as we will say. So how can we support individuals who are going through chronic pain or disability that may, lead to suicidal thoughts?
Yes. Actually, when about two callers, when they called, I was actually leaving my professional line into that empathetic mode of no return. However, I managed to come out as a professional. It is actually emotional and empathetic when you hear people talk about their experience. However, we as professionals, we as society, we as friends to these individuals have a lot to do. As you might have heard some of them say, they think somewhere is very strong enough to have assumed that therapeutic experiences within them without having an external intervention. It is very important as we as family relative friends to pay attention to people around us. For instance, that brother that said they never noticed that he slept outside and came. Had it been the neighbor wasn't careful enough to have approached, he might have stayed there for 2 or 3 days, not knowing that he has been there for long. So it is good that we come in, we show concern when we notice signs of changes in people around us.
Well, Dr. Iyolomo, as we wrap up, enlighten us about collaborations that need and the coordination that needs to exist between mental health professionals, policymakers, and community leaders.
Yeah, there is every need for serious interrelationship. There are government agencies that develop policies, the development sector, the NGOs also support government policies, professional bodies support implementation of these policies, community members integrate themselves into government policies for it to work. Now, first, the government must strengthen its policy on mental health. As I speak to you, there is a Mental Health Act. The Mental Health Act is yet to be domesticated by the Benue State government. We are hoping that the State House of Assembly we expedite actions to domesticate the Mental Health Act. It has provisions for community mental health practice, where mental health could be taken down to the community level, where there is going to be community participation. And as a professional, as Professional Development Association, in collaboration with WHO, last year we began a campaign to see that the Benue State government domesticate the Mental Health Act, which is going to have give room for an improved access to mental health activities and strengthen the mental health policy. We had done an advocacy visit to the Ministry of Health. We had scheduled one with the Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, which has actually not been able to hold. We as stakeholders have come together. At the level of development partners, we are collaborating. There is that inter-organizational collaboration. We have also been collaborating with broadcasting stations like Agate, Brothers FM, Harvest FM, the Radio Benue, the Benue Television, the NTA. In fact, the NTA has a mental health desk where mental health issues are discussed. Now, these are the collaborative efforts. The World Mental Health Day is coming up again by the 10th of October. Already there is synergy to ensure that policies regarding mental health are not just domesticated, they are also made public. And we are also engaging into what is called institutional collaboration, where institutions of learning, the Ministry of Education, the universities will also entrench mental health courses, short mental health courses, mental health activities that will improve the mental health status of their workers, of the students, and people can go to have short-term courses in order to be relevant at the community level. Because until people have the requisite knowledge, even if there is domestication, mental health activities will still be on the low ebb, and there will be low participation and access to even facilities that are provided by the government. And the government can't do it alone. All hands must be on decks. The media houses are doing their onions. They are really doing well. The development agencies are also doing well, and we are encouraging that they should step up. Increase more activities, more community activities that will increase people's awareness of, their mental health.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That was the voice of the chairperson of the Psychological Association of Nigeria, Benue chapter, Dr. Andrew Yolumunshimaka. Thank you for being with us, Doc.
Thank you.
And of course, beside next to him, and who joined us, was also another clinical psychologist, Dr. Solomon Shah. Thank you so much, doctors, for being with us.
Thank you.
And that's the much we can take. Join us again on Friday for another interesting edition of Perspectives. Tomorrow will be People's Parliament, and do not forget to join us for that at 9 o'clock. My name is Emmanuel Tiavia. Good morning, and have yourselves a wonderful, stress-free day.
Reported, a hub for your communication needs. I get radio, the people's voice.